it's your boss is on you, get it done, get it done, get it done, and you're trying to make it right, and it just won't come right, and you're reapplying the filler like 10 times, and then finally you give up and just load the prime on there. And it comes out just okay. It doesn't come out really that straight. And, it stinks. It stinks for these guys, So I got something here that's going to make it go fast and easy, and they'll be, they won't be looking, they'll be looking forward to going to work instead of like, oh, I got to go do this again today, They call auto body or body work in general an art. Cars used to be very flat, and of course the blocks that were out there had flat bottoms and they are not very flexible, and this is where the problem comes in now. You're trying to work a curved surface, and a surface that's probably going to be curved in two directions. You can watch that ruler rock back and forth and you'll get the same rock this way. So now you're going to take a flat block, you're going to put your sandpaper on there, and you're going to try to correct a dent perhaps that's right at the highest point of the curve. Now, no matter how you manipulate this block across here, it's just going to rock, and you're going to end up with a flat spot. And it's going to be very difficult. You may get it right after many, many tries and many applications of body filler. So really you waste a lot of time, you're frustrated, and you waste a lot of material. And we've come up with a better solution. We've got some blocks that help deal with this problem and make the work easy, accurate, and you'll use a lot less materials, be a lot less frustrated. So let's start by making a nice dent right here on this this flared area of this fender. This is a 2001 Honda. Okay, so let me get a hammer for that. Wow, what a terrible spot, and let's even put another one in there. What an awful spot to have a dent, So the blocks that we have, let's come right over here and I'll show you what we've come up with to deal with a situation like this. We've got this is a 9x2, and this block will accept adhesive back paper. Now, this side of the block has a compound curve in it. It's curved in two directions. So when you take this and put it over a panel that has a compound shape, it'll easily conform and you'll get a nice tight fit, and the work will go nice and smooth. It'll even it right out. Now, we could use this in here. It's a little large for there, so we're going to go down to the 7x1. This is the same thing. You could use any side with adhesive back paper. This is the compound side, so this is what you're going to be looking for an area like this. And if you take a look here, you can see how easily that block fits the surface perfectly. So we're going to demonstrate that in a minute. We're going to put some filler and sand that up. Now, this also comes in a 3x1, which is, for smaller areas. If you just had one little small dent, perhaps in here, on the tip of a hood, like at the front edge of a hood, you may use it there, and many other places. Now, when you get into your wet sanding, these blocks can be used to sand down the filler, the glaze, and you can wet sand your prime with these. Also, we have a 2x3. This block has a slight crown in the center. It's just a little higher in the center in both directions. So you may run into a reverse curved area on a body that is difficult when you have a dent in there. This will help you out right there. A lot of guys will take a flat block like this old style and they'll try to run the edge through there, and inevitably it just gouges out what you want to leave, and it's very difficult to work with this old style block. So now we're going to do a little demonstration with the actual filler and show you how easy it is to even it out. We're going to demonstrate. This is a 7x1 compound curved block. This is 180 grade adhesive back paper, and we have it on the compound side of the block. Now you could see this fits really well on this panel. Now, if we don't want to disturb such a big area, we can just use some of the sandpaper. We don't have to paper the whole bottom of the block, so we can just stay on that dented area. So let's just sand that a little bit and just expose the lows and highs of these two dents that we put in here. Oh, there's another dent up here. See that? The block easily exposed what was wrong there. All right, let's wipe that off with a rag. Let's see what we have here. All right, you can see we've got three dents here. We've got two that are pretty sharp and a small dent up here. Let's just go up a little higher. run this in here and knock these areas down to bare metal. And then we'll switch to 180 grit and just feather edge around them. So when we lay our filler in, we can restore the film thickness. And notice I could run this right to left and let it just follow the panel. You can also work it up and down a little bit too. It has now been coated with a thin coat of superfine glaze, and we let that dry, and now we're just going to give it a really light dusting of guide coat so that we can go back in now and sand with 180 and 220. Alright, give that a minute to dry. Let's get some blocks set up. We're going to start with the 4x1. We're going to work that compound curved area right in here, and we'll start in the middle and work our way out. Alright, we've got the center of this crowned area looking really good. The guide coat came off nice and even, and it feels good to the hand. Now we're going to switch to the 7x1. So we could start right in the center, and now we can just feather out. When you're sanding these curved areas, these flares, these compound curves, this block is a godsend because it's got the proper shape to work right across here, and it leaves the proper curve, and you don't have to struggle. I mean, if you try to do this with a flat block, it's near impossible. You're just going to keep doing all kinds of crazy stuff to try to get the shape right, and eventually you'll just settle for something that's close, but it's still really not that good as far as quality. And the fatigue, never mind. I mean, with this there's like no fatigue. It actually becomes enjoyable to do the work because it comes out so well the first time that you find yourself actually enjoying it instead of saying, hey, I don't know what to do here, you know. And you could see as it goes across here, removing the guide coat, now again, you want to sand from the center out. So when you bring this block across, you're pressing, releasing some of the tension on this end. You don't want to gouge into the panel next to it. You just want to gently sand that. Put a little more force on your right hand than your left, or the other way if you're working on the other end of the fender. With the finish, the old finish, you'll actually see the sanding marks will be straight through like that. You won't see any shiny paint, and you won't even be able to feel it. So you're going to use a lot less prime just to cover this up. You don't need to use the prime to restore the film thickness. You're just using the prime more or less like a sealer. As you can see, the panel that had the dents here and an extra bonus dent over here has now been body worked and primed, and we're going to let this dry overnight, and then we're going to block it out with the same blocks that we used to do all the work, and we're going to block it 320 dry and then 400 wet with a little bit of guide coat just to show you how smooth the finish is. Then we're going to paint it and clear it, and you can get to see the final results in our last video.